What's up, conscious breathers and infinite beings alike? So, there's a mass awakening happening. And if you are in the know and you have friends that are having what I now call a quote unquote awakening crisis, and they don't know what to depict, how to depict what is real, what's real or not. And sure, we can dive deep into conspiracy after conspiracy after conspiracy after conspiracy after conspiracy. But as many great wars have been fought and won, the victor wins in the midst of chaos. They always win in the midst of chaos. And how do they do that? Is because chaos creates mass confusion. So if you ever find yourself, or you have your friends around you that are now quote-unquote awakening, remind them of this. Their thoughts are real. Their spirit is real. Their integrity, their beliefs, the things that drive them to be a better person, that's all real. And the number one thing in this whole entire game is the battle of stress. You see, all this mass confusion, it creates a level of stress in the brain. And sure, they may be like, oh, I truly believe that now after all concrete evidence, blah, blah, blah. So many things you can do with endless amounts of knowledge. But it's the doing that makes the real powerful difference. So, I just want to give a friendly reminder to people who have friends that are quote-unquote awakening. Maybe they're awakening to their diet, maybe they're awakening to what's really going on, and how would you, or how would anyone compress everything all at once to really rise in frequency? Because that's what it really is. It's a frequency game. And now we're having tons of CIA documents coming out saying how they use remote viewers to handle different projects. So if you believe that energy is quote unquote woo-woo, you literally have all your taxpayer dollars going to the same people that believe quite the opposite. Okay, so let's get that out the way. Energy is real. The fact that you're using your same phone right now, the energy that's producing within the phone, that came from a man named Nikola Tesla. And Nikola Tesla himself believed in the unseen. He could already see the unseen. Okay? So guys, if you're aware of energy itself, and you're trying to help someone, but you can truly help yourself. But in order to help another, and they're just asking you questions, whatever it is, try not degrading them, whether it be their diet, whatever it is, don't degrade them at all. Try to find instances within their daily life where you can say, hey, you can try to implement this. Hey, have you ever just ask them question after question, and maybe it might give them a second thought to really think, I never thought about it that way. And when it comes to diet, sure, you can blast off veganism, whatever it is. But many of us in the Breatharian world, in people who are in the know, they always look at Breatharians as quote unquote the most non-judgmental in that realm. And the reason behind that is because many of us, in order to get to that state, whatever state it is, we go through a lot of bullshit. I'm gonna just say it like that. We go through a lot of bullshit, and you just see right through the bullshit. And that's why we're so non-judgmental, because we know how much pain and agony that humanity itself has really been going through on all different levels of parasitic thoughts, food, persuasions to control the masses in many different instances, all the way to the music you listen to that could be quote-unquote parasitic. And it goes so deep. But the point I'm trying to make is implement fasting. Forget trying to convert them to a different, whatever it is, veganism or whatever you believe is the quote-unquote right way. Try to at least get them to fast. The power of fasting goes way beyond quote-unquote diet. And breatharianism is more than fasting. It's integrating the energy that is already there for every single one of us into everyday life. It's not just fasting for a couple of days or whatever it is. It's integrating that energy into everyday life. And that's what alchemy breathwork is built on, integrating the breath into everyday life. Not just a breathwork session, then you go on throughout your day. No, it's integrating what you did in this session and creating the ripple effect, even though it's subtle. And that's why we're doing the whole 30-day thing, and more people are messaging me on how it's integrating into their daily life, not just the session. Okay? So whenever you get them to fast, or if you want to raise your frequency, however it is, definitely try fasting. And fasting in itself brings a whole different paradigm of thinking. It's like you're getting more to the understanding of I need less, and less is more. It's creating space, and within that space you can create so much different varieties of quote-unquote abundance, because you have less weight drawing you down. And I noticed this on probably around day 230-ish. You know, I went from 80% to 100% liquids. And the 80% and the 100% paradigm of feeling wise is totally different. It's totally different in terms of density. In terms of, when I would break my liquid fast when I was in the 80% to solid foods and stuff, you could definitely feel the shift and how it resonates, and the frequency would emanate around different people. Right? I can definitely tell you this. When you're in that fasting state, just try to go for one day. Forget trying to go for a couple days or whatever it is, or even aim for at least like 16 hours. You know, even this 16 hours of fasting can definitely change a person's physiology. And see, you didn't even have to persuade them of a certain diet is better or whatever it is, because when they start to feel it themselves, they can feel more, breathe more. That's another thing. Key thing is they're breathing more. That is a power of fasting. When you're fasted and you have less density constricting the organs and constricting the lungs to really get that full resonance of breath, there you go. That's how it always goes back to the breath, how it's all connected onto one. But tell them whenever you're fasting, or if you guys are trying to do this, whenever you're fasting, play as much positive music as much as possible. And what do you have to lose? If you really want to experience a whole different paradigm and really go deeper into whatever your quote-unquote awakening is giving you at this moment, and the fact that you're seeing this video, there's no such thing as coincidences. There's a certain energy. Even before I record, I do breathwork before I record, because I want that energy to emanate in many different ways, and so you can receive it in however you perceive, or however it may emanate into your everyday life and integrate into your everyday life. And the more you breathe, the more you can feel, and that's what fasting gives a person, even if they're not into meditation. And there's many different forms of meditation. One thing I can definitely stress to you guys is getting them to play as much positive music as much as possible, and doesn't matter what diet they're on. And that's why I believe fasting instead of veganism will definitely change the world rapidly, faster than ever, instead of veganism. Fasting in itself, it's reduction, allowing more spirit, which is more breath, to integrate into the body, in the whole entire system, changing the DNA at a subtle level. But the more you're consistent with it, the more you can maneuver and feel your way through life rather than thinking your way through life. When you have the thinking and the feeling, which is the gut area, that's your second brain, when you can feel more, you can be more. And when you can feel more, you can navigate through, quote unquote, what's real and what's not, and what should I do, and how should I think? Not what should I think, how should I think? And that is the power of what fasting truly gave me. How to think, not what to think. How to think, and how to mesh different things all into one. And this is, again, Nikola Tesla himself, beyond all his inventions, most of the ideology actually came from the Eastern philosophies of spirituality itself. But after all his inventions, everything he ever created, he said magnetism. Magnetism was the greatest discovery he's ever made, beyond all his inventions, and how to use it. And that is literally law of attraction. When you emanate what you are, and you want to grow, and you want to get in that growth mindset. And that's another one if you're having a quote-unquote awakening crisis. How does this information help me grow? That is the number one question you want to ask yourself. How does this information help me grow? And how can I use this into my daily life? Thank you all for sharing your breath. Peace.
And each year losing.
What if this whole thing was an opportunity for us to heal? What if everything in the world right now was exactly what we needed to heal at the deepest level of our beings in order to ensure that this will never happen again? What if the root cause of all racism, suffering, violence, war, what if the root cause of all of it was trauma? Unprocessed, unconscious trauma. That, by the way, all humans have experienced. If that were the case, then the solution to transforming this situation, to coming out the other end in a more positive and peaceful world that works for everyone, based in equality, based in unconditional love, the way that we do that then is through healing ourselves individually. Like Einstein said, we can't change a problem from the same state of consciousness the problem was created. We are being invited on a global level to transform our consciousness, and the way that we do that is we understand and we heal our trauma. No one's taught us how to do it, not in the schools, it's not common knowledge. And so those of us that don't understand, those of us that allow our trauma to inform our actions, are doing the best that we can with what we know. And this is the root of the phrase, forgive them, they know not what they do. So it's not up to us to condemn, point the finger, blame. It's up to us only to take personal responsibility for our state of being and to be an example that we don't have to choose suffering. And in that, being an example of healing, of unity, of unifying all of our own broken internal parts, we be an example of what the world can then reflect. And when enough people choose this, choose to heal, choose to forgive, then we will birth a system that reflects that energy, and we will stop energizing a system that perpetuates inequality and separation. Only when we unify our own individual unconscious parts. And so this is an invitation, this is an uprising, this is a calling to every human that stands to alleviate human suffering at large at absolute root, which is always going to be at the individual level and the trauma that we have yet to heal. And so if you're listening, I invite you to unify in healing, to unify in feeling, to unify in heart and mind, to liberate ourselves from suffering. So together we can heal, and together we can create a new earth.
I want to give a quick shout out to Devon, the Black Airbender. I've been doing breath work now for about 2 weeks, and I can definitely say it's amazing. I have no words, honestly. Just the amount of peace and calmness in my mind, not only after every session, but tools that I use throughout the day. Breathwork is just amazing, and working with Devon for these past couple of weeks has really helped me find peace no matter where I am. I can be in any scenario, and if I rely on my breath and understand how to use my breath, then wherever I am, I can find peace where I'm there. After every breathwork session, I always feel energized, and like my body is lighter to move around in. And more importantly, I think as we move on to the next sessions we'll be doing, when we build off of each session, each time the breathwork session we have a session, it allows me to release more and more things through using my breath. So over time, I feel less stressed and less worried and just at ease. I would totally recommend to anyone who's questioning, just give it a try. Especially if you're wondering if you should do it, you absolutely should. Breathwork is something that everybody has access to at all times during the day. Learning how to use your breath and what it means to breathe in different patterns is something that will benefit you tremendously. Absolutely love it. Thanks so much, you guys.